G'day and welcome to another video with Better Pics. Hope this finds everyone well. A quick video today just on keeping organised with Premiere Pro. As many of you I think would be aware, whenever you're editing video, it is a really good idea to try and stay as organised as possible, especially when your projects start to build in size and complexity and the number of assets that you're using. And this really comes down to just creating a really good folder structure, but also keeping organised within your project while you're actually editing. It just means that everything can hopefully run a lot smoother, and you'll never have any issues of trying to find assets that you've used in a project, or you have any issues on where to actually place assets from a storage perspective. So what I tend to recommend is by using bins within Premiere Pro, you're able to replicate your folder structure external to Premiere within Premiere, and that really means that you know exactly where everything is, and it just holds together a lot better. So what I'm going to do is, you can see here I've got 3 sample folders, and each of them contain footage. So one from my drone, one from my GH5, and one from a GoPro. This is all raw footage, and what we're going to do is bring all of those folders into Premiere, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we're going to do is just select all of those folders, and we're just going to click and drag them directly into Premiere and drop them in the Project tab, which you can see just up here. If you can't see the Project tab, you just need to go up to Window up the top here and make sure that Project is ticked, and you will definitely see it. So while those files are importing, there we go, we've got a few file import failures, which is pretty normal for something like a GoPro where you have different file types, which is exactly what those are. Alright, so that's pretty normal. We've just hit OK, and you can see that the GoPro footage there has been imported successfully. Alright, so you can see now we have like little folders that are exactly the same as my folder structure outside of Premiere within Premiere. And you can refer to these as folders, but they're actually called bins. In fact, if I hover over, you can see that there's a drone bin written just there. And within that bin, if you just click on the drop-down box, you can see we've got all of that footage from the drone folder, all of that footage from the GH5, and those 2 clips from the GoPro. So the nice thing about using bins and importing your footage and hosting your footage within Premiere in this way is that everything stays really clean and organized. If you're looking for a particular clip from your drone, you know exactly where to go for it. Same for any of your other cameras. Now you can create bins. If you just right click within the Project tab and click New Bin, you might have a bin that has sound effects. And this might be Foley that you've recorded, or sound effects that you've downloaded or licensed, whatever it may be. You can also have a new bin called Interview. In fact, let's call it Interview Footage. And that may be where the footage goes that obviously you've captured during an interview. So you can have an infinite number of bins, and you can have bins within bins. If for example, if you've shot an interview on 2 different cameras, you might have a camera A or a camera B bin within that interview footage bin at the top there. So there's lots of options there where you can really organize all of your footage and keep it super set up and ready to go. Now all we need to do from there is we can just grab any of the footage that is in those folders. I'm just going to grab that one, and we're going to drop it down on the timeline, and you'll see we'll have a sequence created with that footage. Now you may have noticed that there's a couple of different frame rates there, which is totally fine. That sequence would have been created with the settings based on the initial clip, which was 24 frames per second. I will be creating a video around frame rates for video very shortly. But you can see that for the purpose of this video, talking about bins, you can just grab all of that footage and drop it down on the timeline. Now, if we just expand that window a little bit and we open up all of those bins, you can imagine what it would be like if we didn't have those bins in place. We would just have this massive list of footage or assets sitting there in our project tab, and it can be really challenging to find a particular clip if you haven't actually used it yet. So just keeping it in bins means that you've got some level of organization, and that process of finding what you need is a lot easier and a lot more straightforward. And as I mentioned, it replicates the folders that are already on your storage device, so that that process of storing your assets perfectly replicates the process of managing and organizing your assets within Premiere. It also means that if you're working on a project with somebody else, they can set up a similar storage system, and the issue of missing assets or unlinked assets really does become minimized, which is always a good thing. Now, one of the major reasons why I strongly recommend staying organized with your video assets, particularly when your projects become bigger and more complex, is if we, say for example, accidentally delete or move a particular asset, or in this case a clip. I'm just going to grab this clip and move it into video clip samples. So it's still within the overall project, but you can see it's now sitting outside of that original folder that was imported. If we go back to Premiere, you can see that it automatically comes up with a missing media for these clips, which is the one that I just moved. So it's prompting us to link that media back to its original location, or point us to where it is in the new location, in which case we just hit locate, and we can go up to the new location where that clip is, select the clip and hit OK, and we're back in business. You can see all of those assets are still linked to their location. So while the process of locating media, if it's been moved or deleted, generally speaking, or relinking that media if it's been moved, is a fairly straightforward and easy process, it's one that you want to try and avoid, because it's just going to make your editing process unnecessarily longer than what it needs to be. So just starting by being organized, by having all of your assets in their separate folders and respective bins within Premiere, means that you're easily going to be able to find those assets when needed, and it's just going to make your whole project, as you can see, a lot neater. It's better to navigate through multiple folders or bins rather than a mass of assets that are just sitting in a big list, as you can see there, as if they were not in those bins. So it definitely helps that workflow, and I would strongly recommend doing it. Alright, hope you've enjoyed this very quick video. Just wanted to talk very quickly about why using bins and staying organized within Premiere Pro with your assets is a good idea. Hope it's been helpful, and as always, if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below, and look forward to hearing from you. Otherwise, hope you have a great day. Take care.